to another episode of the Mayor Tyler Moore Show. My name is Drew Larison here on the Kokomo Post, and let's start the show as we always do with a little sponsor reads. IPT's spring sports season is around the corner, and IPT's screen printing is the place to go for your uniform needs. Contact Kyle Fouts at 765-480-3082 for more information. There's a 20-shirt minimum required. Check them out on Facebook. That's IPT's screen printing, screen printed apparel for any occasion and uniforms for any sport, as well as Family Fun Factory Outlet. Springtime is here, and the Fun Factory Outlet Indiana has the state's largest selection of cedar play sets to choose from. Located on south of Crossroads Church on 931 in Kokomo, Fun Factory Outlet Indiana is offering 36-month financing at 0% interest, or you can save as much as 15% when you pay by cash or card. Sale runs through April 30th, so it is over and this is outdated. Call them today at 522-PLAY. Get your kids outside and play this spring and early summer with Fun Factory Outlet Indiana.
That's fun with a capital F.
Yeah, and of course, this whole show is partnered with Walls Furniture and Mattress here in Kokomo. So, Mr. Mayor, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, good. Great to be back. Sorry again for the mishap last week.
That's all right. You're a busy guy.
Give everybody a week off, but that's all right. Give everybody a chance to think through some things and maybe add some more thoughts and questions, but guess we'll have to wait for more later.
Absolutely. No, yeah. So did you have a good weekend?
I did have a good weekend. We snuck away yesterday down to University of Indianapolis to visit my daughter, and my son caught wind that we were there, so he came up. So we got to hang out with two of them before they start finals week this week for college. So good luck to them and all the others that are knocking those out this week and preparing for the summer. But yeah, it was nice to get a few things done, honey-do list around the house as well. But yeah, just
pretty casual
weekend.
Yeah, very nice.
Full, but casual.
I spent most of my weekend watching the Kokomo Bobcats. They had a triple header. Yeah, 3 games in 3 days and almost pulled off
a
3-0. They were 2-1. They should have won Friday night's game, but I talked a lot about it on the Kokomo Bobcast. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, go over to that show on our other page, the Kokomo Post.
Because Friday night was the tribute to Goose Ligon.
It was the Goose
Ligon
they had
jersey.
The special jerseys on, which was really cool. And great crowds in Kokomo this weekend. So what's going on in City Hall this week?
Still a lot of planning. I mean, we're knocking things out project-wise, waiting for design specs and such to return back from consultants or from the engineering department in order to get on some things. A lot of those, or a handful of those projects that we've got allocated with our APR funds. So some water and wastewater projects, some park projects, trail cameras, so a little bit of outdoor and hospitality type of initiatives there, and then of course roads. Looks like Markland's getting about done, at least up to 17th Street, and then once they complete that, we'll do the little rehab, massaging, if you will, just east of 17th Street before you get to 931 to help with a little bit of the congestion there in front of the mall turn-in with Popeyes and McDonald's. But at the same time, already starting work, should jump over to Park Road or Park Avenue there in front of Kokomo Beach and Haynes very shortly as well, and can't get that done quick enough. I mean, that's just been beat up to holy heck for a number of years, and so it'll be nice to make that kind of northwest to southwest jaunt past the beach to pretty that up a little bit, make the sidewalks and such more pedestrian friendly, and get that before we continue to head south towards center.
Love that. Sounds
get
like
them done.
It's construction season.
But of course, getting some initial thoughts too, meet with the department heads, because right around the corner is budget season. So
I know that now. That's how long we've been doing this show. Is I can smell when budget season's coming up. Yeah, very cool. Quick question to me, for me.
Quick question to you.
We haven't talked about it in a minute. Nobody asks me questions on the show. They just say that I'm mean. But we haven't talked about this in a minute. What is the newest update with the Hotel and Conference Center downtown?
Newest update on Hotel and Conference Center, getting closer. I know if you're downtown, you'll see a lot of activity on the north west corner of the block. Unfortunately, that is not Hotel Conference Center related. That is NIPSCO's final phase of the gas line replacement that fortunately and unfortunately is in the downtown area, so they're placing things there. But hotel and conference specific, now that the Ready grant funds are available and ready to be utilized by Kokomo and Howard County. That as the developer meeting, hopefully with his financing folks, that we can hopefully push some paper and turn some dirt, I think, before Labor Day. Now, Jenny Jordan and I have a little running bet going on. I'm more optimistic than she is, so I'm thinking September, hopefully even before Labor Day. She's thinking maybe October, November. So
remember a show we did around in January, and I said, what is your one guarantee for 2022?
A box of dirt on the Hotel Conference Center, and a box of dirt for the industrial park. So the box of dirt for the industrial park is already there, and we've started design work to get that marketable and hopefully get some folks in there a lot sooner than we had anticipated. But yeah, box of dirt for a lot of
boxes of dirt.
That's right.
In the words of Captain Jack, a jar of dirt.
A jar of dirt.
Which, Johnny, we're watching you.
Yep.
All right, so let's get into the Ask the Mayor segment, partnered with Lexi's Drink Barn. Lexi's Drink Barn, if you are a true Kokomoan and you love a good fountain Coke, Lexi's is the place to go. So they've got a great selection of different flavors for your fountain Cokes or Sprites. They have Coke and Pepsi, actually. So you can choose which product you like best. My order is a 44-ounce Coke Zero with sugar-free vanilla. Order the Drew.
On it, man. Order the Drew.
So awesome. Let's get.
So if you hit either location and order the Drew, will they give that to you?
Probably not. They'll be like, "That's."
I'm gonna try.
They'll probably be like, "Did you say Dew? Did you like Mountain Dew?"
Oh, that's true. I wonder.
That's probably what they'll say.
Yeah,
that's
give me a 44-ounce Mountain Dew. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna pull through. I'm gonna get the Drew, please.
Please film that. And then their confusion on their face, probably.
Got it.
Or I could pull some strings and make them prepared, so then you'll be shocked when it actually happens. All right, so first question is from Tracy on Facebook. What are you going to do about the crime? The shootings are out of control for Kokomo. Summer is coming, and children will be playing outside. Do you need backup from the military to get Kokomo under control? Sad when you have to be, speaking of a drive-thru, sad when you have to be prepared to be robbed or shot at a drive-thru. Tracy on Facebook.
Hopefully that hasn't occurred to her or someone that she loves. I don't know that anybody that we've had any reports of robberies or shootings through a drive-through. Unfortunately, there was an altercation between two brothers this past weekend. But I think with the number of officers we're trying to add to the department, we're being more proactive than reactive. I think the impression that crime has increased is not true. I know the police department and police chief's working on numbers for the last couple of years and current statistics, but part of the issue too is that the amount of press releases that the Kokomo Police Department issues to report incidents, mainly to ask for the community's help for additional information, has been more prevalent these last couple of years than in years prior. Again, so that we get the community's help in gaining information, but then two as well, to not sugarcoat anything or make everybody think that there aren't issues or that crime isn't a concern, and it obviously is a concern. But I like to think that I guess that it is safer than what most folks think to play outside, to frequent the trails, to get in the parks. I mean, the park in Kokomo Beach this summer, the police department will have active patrols again in both facilities, just like we did towards the tail end of the summer last year. So there's been that commitment to the police department to assure that Kokomo Beach is a safe place for families to enjoy. Foster Park is a good place and safe place for people to gather and enjoy. So what are we going to do? We're doing it. We're adding the bodies. We're working on training and patrolling to make sure that they're out there and being more proactive than reactive.
So what I'm hearing, the last 2 years, crime is down.
Crime is, yes.
So
the amount now it still exists. I mean, it's not
sure.
non-existent.
It will always exist,
right?
Yeah.
And people go, what are you going to do? Why can't you get the guns off the street? I mean, if individuals want guns, they're going to get guns. If there's going to be altercation, I mean, for some reason, teens, young adults, whatever, are finding that method to settle scores or to handle disputes as opposed to fisticuffs, taking each other, man to man, so to speak. I mean, so unfortunately, because the availability is there, doesn't mean that it's existent everywhere, but yes, the amount of the level of crime, believe it or not, is low. Is it non-existent? No. Is it?
It never will be. But tell me, where does this disconnect come from then? So I mean, if there are stats, if there is data coming out there saying it's lower, where is this disconnect from the public originating where they just don't believe it?
Well, we haven't made it available. We haven't got it out. I mean, we're saying that it's down. I mean, the appearance, again, with the number of press releases that are issued asking the community for additional information on incidents gives the impression that, it's so much higher than it was.
What is the holdup on getting that data out there then to actually show people?
To be honest, I don't know. I mean, I think it's just putting it in a manner to release that's understandable, but at the same time, I think they want to make sure that they're controlling that the not necessarily the narrative, but to make sure that it's released and the story is told.
Because this is, I guess it's becoming kind of like the tale as old as time is in Kokomo when it comes to crime, and the public thinks it's apocalyptic at times, it's the end of the world.
Yep.
But then the administration or the KPD is saying, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Here's some data and numbers. But then no one believes those data and numbers because they keep going back to it's awful.
I kind of want to jump in on it too, because I think there's some confirmation bias that happens as well, right? That we hear and we, there's an abundance of more access to information. And we've talked about this on a couple shows that I will always be pro information, pro open government, right? And at the same time, that access to information becomes, there's more crime, and then more crime. Now there's more, you know what I mean? It becomes this cycle of confirming what people believe they know. And then also people maybe not necessarily taking the time or having access to the real hard data, right? And that's something that I'd love to work on and see if you can bring to this show is real hard numbers.
Yeah, we need to. It's time.
Without that, what you're talking about, getting that report ready without getting that data ready, the data that this city has comes from the Kokomo scanner. And I know I'm talking about that again, but without some sort of reporting of actual numbers, it's that perception that we've talked about. They're following a Facebook page, and it's all.
Well, I don't know that it's necessarily the Kokomo scanner. I mean, yes, they're following the police reports, but I mean, as Aaron mentioned, I mean, with everybody with their with their Ring cameras now, they're able to post videos, and I think it's just across the board. I mean, it's Facebook or social media posts. Pick a page, that then says, I had this happen or that happen, and then somebody shares it, and so it could be a single incident that's shared a dozen times, and so you're right, it may give that impression, but you're right. I mean, if the impression is that the incident of crime is higher because the amount that it's reported, or because that's only what folks focus on, or that they're only seeing. So there is that
well, I mean, I guess what I'm saying
across the board.
If there are these reports and these data, there's this data, and until those are released and shown, honestly, whether they're comprehensible by the normal person or not, the longer those aren't being shown, the more and more
right.
other things are being shown.
Absolutely.
And that's where this perception builds.
Yep. So we need to, yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get
it out.
Getting it released and getting it out there, even
Will
if you
help.
don't think it's in that most comprehensible term, get it out and then make maybe some follow-ups or things like that. Because, I mean, I honestly, like these questions every single week of these people sounding like Kokomo is this apocalyptic playground. It's just, and this isn't new to your administration either. This is something is, like I said, it's becoming the tale as old as time in Kokomo. And,
and
that's not the Kokomo I see.
Right.
And it's frustrating because I don't know if I'm wearing rainbow colored glasses but that's not the Kokomo I see. No. And there's gotta be like actual numbers and data to show people,
and we need to get that
your perception is
out
incorrect.
and available. And I don't want to discount Tracy's 100%. Comments or her concerns, because you're right. There probably have been incidents in her neighborhood or in areas near a park where they may frequent that's different from it. I mean, the city's a big place. I mean, so a lot of things happen, all over, and in some areas there may be more incidents, on a given weekend or, so not to discount that at all. I mean, there are concerns because, like I said, crime, is still evident. It's evident everywhere. But we just need to do a better job of getting the message out.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's tough because, I don't know, there was an incident this weekend, right? Like you don't want to discount that. Right. You don't want to say, and I guess my question is for those, young teenagers, where did they have access, right? Like,
who knows?
But the second piece is we keep having the same question come up, right? So there is this widespread perception among at least some people that this is an unsafe area, right? Which is like, gosh, I hate that for our community. And, your answer keeps being, we're upping patrols. We're trying to up numbers. So I'd love to see where are the numbers on staffing? What does that look like now compared to last year, compared to the year before? I think some of those, if we can see that it's not just lip service. It's not just, we're patrolling more. Right. And it really is like, this is what's happened. I'd love to be part of showing that to Kokomo.
Yeah. Great. And there's also this idea that, and you kept saying like, there's a crime-free city never exists. And I feel like there's this attitude of like, well, Kokomo needs to go back to what it used to be. Trust me, folks, what you're talking about, those times, there was also crime. Like there was never a time in Kokomo where crime didn't exist. So, I mean, I understand the frustration. I hate hearing stories like this, especially the one over the weekend. But I don't know. I just like someone set it straight because these questions every week of this Kokomo that is portrayed, I don't think it's the one that's really there. And I wish that would end.
More needs to be done to spell it. So thank you, Tracy.
Yes. Again. Next question is from Kathy on Facebook. And this is actually a topic we've never really brought up on the show. But when is Karena McClerkin going to get the justice and her family get the justice she deserves? So this is a cold case in Kokomo for God, how many years now? Are we getting close to 10 years?
Has it been? Maybe. I was thinking it was around 2014. Either 2014 or 15, I forget.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those, yes, it's a cold case, but believe it or not, I mean, the investigation, is still ongoing today. And part of the problem is that, I mean, there's a certain level, I mean, there are maybe those with information that are that are not willing to speak, and so therein lies the unfortunate challenge is that there's suspects, there's theories and such, but those that either were involved or that have information about those that were about the incident are unwilling to share that information. And, and then they say, well, bring in the FBI. Well, if the FBI come in and they still can't get, people to talk to them, they're still, I mean, so they've been investigating this. I mean, I believe that it's been given to a new set of eyes in the Kokomo Police Department, a new detective combing through things. And so, hope is that there'll be something breaking sooner than later. I get that there's the issue with not having closure and not having more definite answers, but without the use of torture, you can't necessarily get somebody to talk that isn't willing to. But,
and that's tough.
But they are still working on. I can assure the family and friends that it is still an active case, that it is still being investigated, that
as much as it can be.
Right, to the extent that it can.
It's kind of like the girls in
those
Flora.
with information, if people are willing to talk and really bring information, they're ready for it.
2016, by the way.
2016.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm
Thank you.
more than I thought it was. It just seems like it's been a long time. But it's kind of like the case in Flora as well, the girls in Flora, where that same type of thing. There's only so much you can do investigation wise unless more people come forward with ideas. So it's tough.
Yeah.
Next question is from Sandy on Facebook. Cities all over the country are starting non-police emergency response teams to respond to calls about mental health, homelessness, and substance abuse. These programs are meant to assist people in getting the help they need while preventing escalation. I think this would be a great program for Kokomo. What does Mayor Moore think about this? Sandy on Facebook.
That's a great idea or a great program. I believe it's been discussed to an extent, here to all, because police officers and sheriff deputies, as well as our first responders, fire department, our firefighters and EMTs and such, they receive training with mental health issues, but are not experts and only know so much. Fortunately, we've got Turning Point that's about ready to open their facility. That'll be a drop-in center. Family Service Association, the Rescue Mission. I mean, a lot of these facilities and organizations, do have those that work with those in need. Part of it is just a matter of getting them transported to those services. But yes, I mean, it's a concern. I think part of it too is do the hospitals take the lead on that? Do the clinics take the lead on that? Because then you'd have to get certified therapists. I mean, no, it's non-sworn in individuals, but I'm assuming if that's a program that they've got either therapists or doctors or medical professionals that specialize in those, that if they're the first responders in those incidents that do arrive to help de-escalate those situations, I think it's a matter of who takes the lead, and then down to funding and what that program looks like. But I'd say we'd all be in, and maybe that's something that now that Turning Point has that drop-in center multi-bed facility, and a few of the other facilities that have recently opened, that maybe there was a group that can be formed that would help fund that type of first response team or whatever to assist or to handle that. So
yeah, I mean,
great idea.
Perfect world. What community wouldn't love something like that? But I mean, we're having a hard time keeping our own just normal police department, staffed and things like that. So
and hospitals and stuff. The
ambulance. I mean, that whole conversation and all of that. So I mean, Turning Point, that could be an interesting, entryway into that conversation and possibly. Last question is from Angela on Facebook. Okay. Will there be more stuff to do as a family or for kids to do instead of running the streets and getting into trouble? Now, if they're running the trails, we're okay with it.
Yeah, if they're running the trails or they're running to the parks, and then playing, the basketball, tennis, skating, and such. I mean, it'd be great. I mean, running the streets and getting in trouble. I kind of did that as a kid. I mean,
you got in trouble?
Fun. Well, I did not too much.
Did you ever TP a house?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Confessions of a Mayor.
Did you ever TP a house? Yes.
Are you a kid that grew up in Indiana if you didn't TP a house?
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
Guys, I told you this was not a thing like where I grew up. So when you said like legitimately you had like thrown toilet paper at a person's house, like when you were a child, I really thought that was like something that happened in like raucous teen movies.
KPD data. I bet TPing houses was way down in early 2020 because TP was so short.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Man, I think you were TPing houses.
That was the first.
Large.
Well, that was the first year I think people welcomed being TP'd because then they could.
Oh, that's true. Actually,
take it in. So
Reuse. They could
have you ever corned a
recycle.
house though?
No, there's a few different ones.
Say corned?
Yeah, corned a house.
You ever forked a house? That's an interesting one. Egging seemed too intense for
Yeah,
me.
egg. And I never.
That could be
just
like
with
actual
that.
damage.
What
Yeah,
in
what
the
that would do. just-
Hoosier is corning a house?
So when you take the corn off of the cob, it's loose, kind of like in bags and such.
Agriculture form, not corn, not like sweet corn.
Not sweet, not canned
Okay.
corn.
You don't want to
it's
waste
so
that.
hard.
I mean, that's a crime in its own.
Yeah. Then houses that had large picture windows or something.
Chuck it.
And then right again.
Sounds like a machine gun.
I mean, I've heard that's what
I've
happened.
also heard.
I don't.
You ever heard of baloneying a car?
I feel like I saw that on like a
I don't know if it's
picture,
real.
not in real life.
No.
Yeah, I don't know if it's real, but they say like if you put a bunch of slices of bologna on a car, it will remove the paint in like the perfect circle of the bologna.
That would not be good.
No, that wouldn't be. So anyway, what can kids do in Kokomo?
Yep.
None
So-
of the above.
Yeah,
No.
please
Here's a
don't,
list
please
of what
don't go
not
and do
to
that.
do.
Please don't do any of that.
TP.
No, I mean, property
Because
damage
you could
is
grow
not
up to
good.
be mayor if you do some of those things.
Are we working on things for kids and families to do? Obviously, we're always open to that. Some of the available facilities. I mean, we're trying to get somebody interested in a skating rink again and to bring that back. We've got folks that have talked about recreation facilities. I know we've got the Raceway, Kokomo Raceway down on the south end of town. That has the go-karts and miniature golf and such. We're hoping that maybe the popularity of Championship Park with the development, out there may bring something. But
Jackrabbits games,
Jackrabbits game, Bobcats. Yep. I mean, so the beach will be open before.
Kokomo Beach will be open.
So I mean, there are things, but I get that there folks like things that may be almost like gravity trampoline park because they're there, but constantly working on it because we not only hear that from the adults and the parents, but the kids and teenagers as well. It's like there's nothing to do. I mean, so we're looking at opportunities and trying to entice folks to develop and do it.
Well, and shameless plug, a couple years ago this came up and we were like, man, there's nothing to do in Kokomo. So we took several months and all we could find was a list of 250 things you could do in Kokomo.
That's all there is.
That's terrible. That's all.
Ugh.
Kokomo is so boring.
It's so boring. So if you guys are looking for that very short list of 250 things you can do with your family in Kokomo, you can check it out at the Kokomo Post.
We know it's small, but I mean, it's the only thing that's there.
Ugh, what are you going to do? So boring.
You can cut that sarcasm with a knife. Love it. Yeah, Kokomo is boring blog. We wrote that on the Kokomo Post, and dear me, it still gets so many views every single month. So we're slowly and surely debunking the myth that there's nothing to do in Kokomo.
Perfect.
Slowly and surely.
But we'll keep working on it because there's still, it's specialized for some folks.
It's only as if we had actually a whole show, I'd say, talking about maybe a weekly show that would talk about all the things going on in Kokomo that week or this weekend. That's a show. I don't know. We could call it the local buzz. Maybe Bree could host it. That'd be interesting.
That'd be a good idea.
Maybe it comes out on Wednesdays.
Or if you guys kind of hopped around and tried different things too.
that'd be
pretty cool.
I don't know. Kokomo Post tries. Could that be?
That's brilliant.
I love it.
We're on fire here.
I love it.
The sarcasm is still really thick. So I forget your name. My laptop's closed. But the person that asked that question, please check out the Kokomo Post, watch all the content we're doing, and I promise you will find things to do for your family.
But in the meantime, we will continue to work on bringing new and exciting things as best we can.
Yeah, a roller skater, is that still a popular thing? Do a lot of people?
I think
I would
so.
do that.
I mean, the closest one I think is over in Logansport, and then there's a handful of folks here that have been over that still
drive to Logansport.
gets a lot of activity over there. So
that's interesting. Awesome. Well, thank you for those questions. If you have any questions for the mayor, leave a comment below on this video, or we always post something on Mondays to remind you guys to get your questions in for the Ask the Mayor segment, partner with Lexi's Drink Barn. So thanks for that. Mr. Mayor, you got a dad joke for us?
Ooh, dad joke. Well, it's we're in the middle of baseball season, and I've been watching some games from T-ball all the way up to high school ball and catching a little bit of majors. But did you notice, when watching, I noticed that it takes long, or that it's, what's longer, to run between first and second base or between second and third base?
I would think they're the same.
Yeah, no, it's longer between second and third. There's a shortstop in between.
Honestly,
Sports jokes.
I'm going to be honest. That's the first one you've told that I didn't see coming, because I have that dad instinct as well. That got me. That was a good one. That's a really good one. I love that. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode of the Mary Tyler Moore Show here on the Kokomo Post, partner with Walls Furniture and Mattress. Like I said, if you have any questions for that Ask the Mayor segment, just please leave them below. We'd love to get those on the show, and we'll see you next time.
You got it. See you, Kokomo.